Okay, doke. Good evening, everyone. I hope you're all well. Happy weekend to everybody. Um, to anyone who's watching on YouTube or Facebook, greetings to you, as well as to anyone who's watching on TikTok, greetings to you. Yeah. Okay. The book of Proverbs, wisdom from the book of Proverbs, unlocking wisdom for 2026 from the book of Proverbs. And one a yegusono. So and a day 10, because today is the 10th of January, by the grace of God. Um, yeah. Yeah, Babe, we're going to delve into what scripture has for us today, or what God has for us today in Proverbs chapter 10. And I just hope, say, for those of us who are embarking on this journey, the whole of this month of January, I hope, say, you are enjoying, um, spending time with God through the book of Proverbs for this month of January. And then I think, say, yeah, as the months go by, it'll be nice if you can continue on this journey by picking other books from the Bible. Not what kind, perhaps you can dedicate a book a month. Every month, be able to see book by na what focus on that. Mejidi say ebeboa. Let's crack on because we don't want to be here for too long. A Saturday evening, everybody's got things to do. Mejidi say, you know, I don't want to be bring more parties, engagements, funerals, to attend. Yeah, let's just crack on very quickly. Into Proverbs chapter 10, and if you've missed out on all the other, the first 9 episodes we've done, feel free to hop onto my YouTube channel and catch up. And I said the Facebook platform and catch up on the previous 9 episodes. And especially if you're watching on TikTok, because unfortunately, TikTok, you repeat the video, it doesn't stay anymore. And I'm not downloading them to put them on TikTok. So once we finish on TikTok, that's it. But if anybody is interested and you want to catch up, you can catch up via Facebook or via the YouTube channel. Okay. All right. So Proverbs chapter 10. I'll just read from my notes. My notes kakra maya waha. What the chapter 10 focuses on. Chapter 10, again, like almost all the other 9, na yaka, which is beginning to sound a bit repetitive, but it is what it is. And the more repetitive it sounds, and on say God is really hammering on these things to us. And hopefully, it will make it stick with us even more for this month and for the rest of the year. And once again, Proverbs chapter 10, more or less like the others, is contrasting between righteousness, or the righteous person, and the wicked person, the wise person, Sebio, and the foolish person. In America, it is the Bible saying it. Don't feel uncomfortable hearing the word foolish. Yeah, the Bible makes reference to foolish people or to foolishness. So get comfortable with hearing that. And then, it's going to teach us, this particular chapter is going to teach us how words can heal or how words can destroy. And if you're a believer, we all know the words are spirits. And we have to be very careful with our words. What we say to our own selves, we can either build ourselves spiritually, which will then, we can build ourselves positively, spiritually first, which will then manifest in our physical, or we can destroy ourselves with our own words, which will also manifest in the physical. And who you are in the physical, is as a result of things you've said to yourself. The same way, sometimes, parents, me say parents, and I said whenever I've done things like this in the past with my husband together, when we used to do our time with Eric and Marie, we would also always encourage parents to be very careful the kind of things you say to your children, or the kinds of things you say about your children, whether in their presence or in their absence. We still have to be very careful the things we say to our children. At most, to the best of your ability, always try and speak greatness into your children's lives and watch them blossom into beautiful children, beautiful grown-ups, beautiful adults, and so on. And even when they are grown, continue to speak greatness into your children's lives. They are very, very important. Every child you see out there who is a confident child, who knows who they are as a child and all that, will say, my parents are always speaking greatness into my life. There's a church I know in South London, but a couple of times some of our friends who attend that church invited us there. It's a Ghanaian church. One thing I kept hearing the pastor say, one phrase I kept hearing the pastor every time we've been there, is the spirit of excellence. The spirit of excellence. And that's one thing I took away from that church. And so when our children were young, our daughters, when they were young, anytime they were going to school every day, I'll say to them, go to school with the spirit of excellence. Make a drop school, now make goodbye. After wishing them, a great day, I always say to them, remember, you have the spirit of excellence. And by the grace of God, by saying that to our children all the time, throughout their education, they all excelled all the way through to university. Even in their masters, they've all excelled by the grace of God. As in Omo masters, they've all excelled by the grace of God. Say grading school will tell you, say the different categories, and by the grace of Almighty God, all three of our daughters always fell within the gifted and talented children. And if the world is telling you that your child is gifted and talented, how much more you, the parent, not speaking greatness into your child's life? Okay. And so if you are a parent listening to me this evening and you have young children, develop a habit of telling your child every day till they believe it, till they themselves start saying it to themselves, that they have the spirit of excellence. Ope krampo ma wo banfa mirror na ufra wo bana na wa ukita mirror nti yemfa ne say ade we book ye mirror kita mirror no na ne wo ba ninjina ho na ka kire wo ba ne say onhwe mirror num na onka nkire ono ane ho say the spirit of excellence. One ne yes our practice na just watch how beautifully your child will blossom and how they will excel in everything that they do, because then it will become part of their subconscious programming. And bibi or obey excel, because they will attempt everything in life with the spirit of excellence. Okay, and see, that's another thing we are going to learn from Proverbs chapter 10, that words can heal or words can destroy. Into we that parent na wo de bia oba who say na akwara we de o ha medodo akwara we de o yakwara bone akwara we de o ti say ya, you are creating certain realities for yourself. And to say oba ni nyini duru baby no kofufa problems, all kinds of problems be de brewa e mesu say oba nya oba disturb there be check wo as especially as the mothers. Yeah, mame no. Yeah, no what check you who say Ubano Ushano, dear and seven and now what I catch no. Mr. Echampo, Dominic Echampo, but good evening. I says, sure, my children must receive spirit of excellence. Yes, it's one thing I learned from a Ghanaian church in South London, and I adopted it. Okay. Now, chapter 10 will also teach us about work ethics. Okay, work ethics. The diligence we bring into our any kind of work environment that we are in, being diligent. Again, when it comes to diligence, one key aspect of diligence is respect for time. When you learn to respect time, respect people's time, and you be a catcher will say ebia and in 2 o'clock. Now fe na wukwa kodru 2:45. Na ukodru honso wakoma nipa no all manner of excuses. It is not acceptable. Debia me taka if I nyame mpo na meka. Sometimes you hear jokes from your Ghanaian community, where people will say things like, oh, Ghana dear. So obi ma time say any share. For example, say 2 o'clock or back actually also, oh, any minshia 1:30 to 2:30. Or bet me a time bear me into who share there won't you don't even know exactly what time they want you to meet up with them because between 1:32 or 2:30. Okay, but as funny as it sounds, it's not funny. It means we just don't have respect for time. Going back to me and how I'm always taking things from people or places I go to, things that are positive that I always like to adopt into my life. We went to an event some time ago, and I heard this guy say, when you actually arrive on time, you are late. Yeah. And I thought about it and I was like, actually, that is true. So, for example, Yenfane say you're supposed to go start a maybe, your time for starting is, let's say, 9 a.m. If you arrive at 9 a.m., you are actually late because you're supposed to arrive slightly earlier than 9 a.m. Because what it does is that one, so who arrive in 9 a.m. You're supposed to start now. Now you're rushing. Oh, rushing. Ubedrukwa na ebi a wo pante, oh sweaty, to be and settle down ye, then you throw yourself into a jumana. Why here? Beginning on yamabeye hija na basa basa ma kakra. But so allow yourself just a few minutes, but you arrive a few minutes earlier. You have time to really settle down, calm yourself down and everything, your head is in the right space and everything, then you actually start a jumana right from the onset. You're more productive. It's something I also learned some time ago. Say when you arrive on time, you are actually late. It's something those who don't have respect for time, is something you can adopt. Anybody who has followed me on social media and followed my videos for some time will attest to the fact that even when I'm about to make these videos, and I'll come and write, oh, maybe join me live at, let's say, 6 p.m. Na me meant me and by 6 p.m. ne pepepa. I feel so bad, even though when I say we're social media program no, but I actually feel very bad because nim obia what take you seriously. Obia, they can't wait because sometimes you get the feedback from people that hey na Marina de one may na me train say can't be same way. So you realize that people do take their some people take it seriously. Ebi mo ani je ho. Ebi mo look forward to. Say nipa na bia or ye bibi but okay or not do pewasem or see o ebia Maria be trouble ho so beba 6 p.m. now or 10 past 6 oh my. 6:15 oh my. 6:30 oh my. That's you not respecting them and respecting your time. Sometimes I'll come and write slight delay. Maybe I've shifted the time from this to now this. That's me showing my social media friends some respect. Well, and let's be mindful of that as well. Mary, I must say Happy New Year to you, my dear sister Loanga. We are missing you, Marie. Oh, I'm missing all of you too. Say hello to everybody for me at St. Charles Loanga. Oh, I meet you, Bia. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Respect for time is all part of diligence, because what it is going to teach us as well is that diligence brings prosperity. Sometimes we don't realize as people that we shut certain doors or certain opportunities ourselves just by not respecting people's time. And another excuse I mempe, and they say Uber use traffic as an excuse. Make I said some time ago, you call Ghana 2 years ago. No, we were in 2026, so 3 years ago now, 2023. Na ye ni penny be call or the year share adibi. And on my time, say you drew the hot 7 p.m. We got stuck in traffic. So I sent a message. Sorry, we're stuck in traffic. We're on our way. We should be about 10 minutes delayed, you know. And I took it for say, oh, maybe I had a patutu tumpu until people you bedu no yeah ready. But I still sent the message just out of courtesy anyway. And you do, you know, why you're ready, you be a door now, or say Mona, not the paper will feel, but you do, ya, or say Mona may train we, Momesi. And within 2 minutes, we were in his car, yeah, saying he left everybody in the house, put us in his car, driver two car, yeah, saying, until now, imagine say, yeah, 15 minutes late, half an hour late. Uncle Beja Yahuako. Uncle Beja Yahuako. And learning to respect people's time, and even when life happens or circumstances beyond your control happens, and you're stuck in traffic or there's an accident, it's a delay or kakra, just showing that courtesy by actually sending a message or calling the person, or even Wejumampo or whatever, to say, you know what, I've been slightly delayed, but I'm actually on my way. And no crane man nipe who say, okay, nipe isebe, unimenyansa, back to wisdom, yeah, what you say. Even, call restaurant in UK ha. Sometimes we book a restaurant, okay, we'll hold the table for you for an extra 10 minutes, and that's an extra 15 minutes. You just never know the ABC or quite. So that's for one reason or the other, delay be bad. We would always call the restaurant and let them know, you know what, we're stuck in traffic, there's been an accident on the motorway, whatever, and then they'll say, oh, oftentimes they'll say, oh, that's fine, okay, we'll shift your time to say your online booking, yeah. The moment we realize, say, BB, late, we would always go into the online booking and try and shift the time, because sometimes there's opportunities like that. And Sister Days in Pacho, good evening. And the book of Proverbs teaches us these things. And you see, like I was saying, sometimes when you're dealing with and say bibinia, they can say, enipa we media or you're diligent. Or you're diligent within the time there, it means obema me productivity, obey your productive, say media deal with let's be very mindful of things like this, because you just never know who is watching you, especially in social media. Everybody is watching everybody. Penning for example, it's not social media, say political videos near there. And penning for no more. We've heard our president, His Excellency the President John Mahama, say he watches social media until he knows. Only more jokers, only more serious, only more yes, only more yes. Sabi debi amede me ho example me ka de hye Nyankopon de enumunyam say me betena social media show na me de be ye nsemhunu a anka me nya Ghana mpanimfo sometimes mpo e mo mo mfrɛ me nka say eya yetunu se wabemu bu but me ma wabemu bu, what's honor Dr. Nyahonya Hotamaklu Afrel out of the blue. What an honor, just because of your videos. What's honor Mr. Alankwe Jochre Matia Frel out of the blue. Say makope wo number because me pese me bo wabaso. That is an honor. What's he say? Ain't people are watching. People are watching. And so let's be very mindful what we do and how we use our social media. Hence, there be a castle. You see, kind of be say we too hard, but because of the kind of community we come from, and how, I'm sorry I have to say this, but I'll say it anyway. We come from a society where who open or sell too much for people. You can meet Ghanaian and within a matter of minutes, or disrespect to say, people can go from 0 to 100 in a matter of minutes. Let me give an example. Hence, I always talk about setting boundaries. There was a couple of years ago, something happened to somebody, a Ghanaian lady who had gone to Ghana, and at Kotoka International Airport, she got herself, it was COVID time, she got herself in a mess. And so the authorities came in, blah, blah, blah. I was minding my business. I get a call from somebody on Facebook. In fact, there was a message first. We've heard that, you're connected to such and such, the government at the time. Can you please help us? Blah, blah, blah. So me and my nice self, I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine. What help do you guys need? The guy says, can I call you? I said, fair enough. Call me. He calls. Hello. Oh, good evening, madam, blah, 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 me tea, bibia. Okay, let's talk the next day. The next day of Frey, me try my best, me connect to mama politician be. So I'm trying now on in fact, it was Dr. Okoboypo. Some of you might remember this. Then the guy calls the next time, and the moment I pick up the phone, yo, just like that. What time did we go from hello, madam, to yo, like I'm your playmate? From hello, madam, within less about 48 hours, now is yo. You don't know me, I don't know you. You know, once again, this is where I always talk about setting boundaries. Because the one setting boundaries, and especially on social media, any Tom, Dick, and Harry thinks you are their playmate, and they can come and mess about with you anyhow they want. But wisdom teaches us to set boundaries. Wisdom teaches us to set boundaries. You know, let's be very mindful of all these things. And then the chapter will also teach us about how laziness brings about poverty. Yeah, this same Bible, Ekachere say, and sa enye dwuma ne sebe enye den endidi. It's not about bless me, please. Can you give me something, please? Now no me who lady began any lady be or US na me twem na mete so ye video na me show ba me ngina ha me tie kakra be ya na me techre na me tie kakra mete so address you obi say na wo de mo sori a me bro nya ade we na wo di bi aba no address you obi from Ghana am say nipa no ko comments nim so on send na bro nya ade and obi so nipa ko say na wo di bi abre me. It goes both ways. At the channel say it goes both ways. Intika wo di bi abre me na wo bi sa me say wo show there we here and can say you know, that's just on a lighter side. But oftentimes, menkase obi a obisa for niema saa bia na oye poor there be yes na meka with the greatest of respect and yes na meka. But the Bible is very clear. Say laziness brings poverty, and why you're careful. Now say you remain within the bracket of lazy people na who attractive poverty na then one you're careful ubedani ubia or stress radie. And we don't want that when there's an opportunity for everybody to live an abundant life. It's all to do with the mindset. Okay. So, and then also the chapter talks about integrity, how honesty leads to security, deceit leads to trouble. If you are an honest person, again, you open honesty will open so many doors for you. Honesty will give you so many opportunities in life because if you are an honest person, it means you have integrity. Honesty will sharpen your credibility in the eyes of people. If you are a dishonest person, most people will not want to associate with you because of your dishonesty. Now, I reference Honorable Kennedy Japan a lot because I've learned a lot from him throughout the years of knowing him as a Ghanaian politician and following him, even when I disagreed with him so many years ago and all that. But Ostati program be some time ago, near a program, no, it was to do with the mindset. Me refer the actual name of the program. And he said something some time ago. And during his campaign time, a few years ago, 3 years ago, so 2023, the last MPP4 prime minister, he repeated it somewhere along the line, ne campaign mo, na made to meet him. And it is so true. Or say, Ghanaian business community, community bia, circle no, is Madam Beatrice, good evening. Or say, our Ghanaian youth want to, our Ghanaian youth let me pin this so I can read it properly. Our Ghanaian youth want to copy American way of life by force, which is not a good thing. They don't even know how the words are used. So they just need to educate themselves. But thank you for being here. Thanks for your contribution, Miss Beatrice. Now, referencing Honorable Assembly I'm making, or can Simbi and I made it to me hopeful. Or say Ghanaian business community, no. Ghanaian business community. You come Ghanaian business community, we are talking the top business people we know in Ghana. So we are talking the Mr. Despite and his friend Mr. Dr. Ofori Sapong. We're talking Mr. Ibrahim Mahama, Honorable Kennedy Japon himself, his friend Papa ya omoko bubu ni dan. Hey, Papa bube fu me se be refidi. Mr. Giorgio Tibonsu, Mr. Giorgio Tibonsu, the whole East Legon Club, Executive Club, they are all business people, yeah, businessmen and women. But almost circle no and so sa into honorable can be say yemfa say baako emma wadwuma bi say ebia yema no. Now ukoye dishonest, ukodin tro na wankoye adwuma ni ya na bibi. Na se okoka emma the rest of them netia. Can you imagine the knock-on effect of wahala wakofa abrewo? Because then there's no way the next one the other one is it will be like a domino effect. Because of a so because almost circle no et say a bet me our MPP a bet me our NDC, but when it comes to them as business people and it's a one year careful. Now we say udin. If as a baako ama wadwuma, wan hwemu anye ne ye, woni na ndi no nokwarem. Na wo koye adwuma na basa or whatever. Na udin ko say ho. Na se okama na nyonkofo na aka netia. The knock-on effect a bit me impactful for a very, very long time. Sa na your politics and so so tie. Your political class in Ghana no. E no so ye kiti. Uyi grassroots base rank and file asie ho sebe enidiemu uyi asie ho fo ne disi nchen political class political actors nankasa both NDC MPP no and so sa and wo nyina so ye baako and so sa kora wo ye baako therefore say wo come messy up yemfa ne say contract bi wanye ni ye ne bia udin kopiem na ne maneme bi adwum wani mu go ase that is it until we have to be very 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 careful ya namontuom ye honesty because enem area se bibia ye word of mouth no e ko ntem e chain so we advertisement and bibi mama me my example especially enem social media and ye kokrom kakra na me se me koto ade na ye call store na me koto ade no of course all the different brands will be one in a store but then there was one particular store I noticed they had introduced this year which really caught my attention, and they said what is trending on social media. And on different products are air trendy on social media. That me coach now na me share na me catch my husband say yes, this is the power of social media. This is the power of social media. Into as much as say it's a store and all the brands you can think of on my display or money man. Dia enipa air can social media so and so I am so impactful say store no I a small stand because then it makes it easier for you to see what is trending and what people are talking about, because even in terms of makeup okrampa and maya dear yenimi ya waniama are trendy in 2025 and ya waniama they are about to trend in 2026. Our influencers are starting air kanwasem and until drew social media store what's trending on social media na or mashisha sani money na into say oh okay so this 2026 we're never okay so to be oh it goes to show the power of social media. Hence we ought to be very very careful how we use our social media platforms. And me there be a meka me social media my husband besie et say ufie if in real life se me ma wo kwan e ma wo sebe wo mprapra bola e mehwie ngo me front door ano why must I allow you to come and put junk in my social media? Me mau kwan ma wonfa junk mba me social media. Any I'd rather and then there's a comment no kwan ye bedum no kwan na medum no kra. Because I don't need junk on my social media anymore. Because maintain social media for Afrikubo. Maintain social media for agro. Maintain social media because minimum the social media I am mommy. And I take my social media very serious. My funny say me fee. Nti me very strict with my social media. There be me block you say ya, me delete you free so say obako say ya. Me fa ni agro sa there be. May accept two friend request kura because ebia na me gusu na me accept ya for ebia me papa yene na aba na me na e kire me hu se sebe nya de papa bi na wo de yepe you out. No. Comment for agro, mente for jokes, mente for people's validation. No. I know who I am already by the grace of God. I've been bought with the precious blood of Christ. And you will be validation sebe na me hwehwe at this point in my life. And then me who will be post on Facebook. Me ready bibi kakra because na powerful. Yeah. And that's about it. So let's read. It's quite a long chapter. 20. No, it's quite a long one actually. It's a long one. 32 verses. Yeah, and I'll just cherry pick a few ones now. Yeah. So contrast of the righteous and the wicked. The Proverbs of Solomon. A wise son makes a father glad, but a foolish, stubborn son who refuses to learn is a grief to his mother. Treasures of wickedness and ill-gotten gains do not profit, but righteousness and moral integrity in daily life rescues from death. In daily life, so it's a daily thing. The Lord will not allow the righteous to hunger. God will meet all his needs, but he will reject and cast away the craving of the wicked. And if you're a wicked person, God will reject you and cast you away. But if you're a righteous person, at least if you try to be a good person, God will meet all your needs. Poor is he who works with a negligent and idle hand. Yeah, poor is he who works with a negligent and idle hand. Into the sebe, yeah, to me sorry nkwa now one won't decide say sebe wo de obeda and now bet na eduase no wabodame wato dame na woto dame na wia obi twam a o se na mi nidi yo mam bibi kakra ana wunya credit kakra na woto yi na oba social media no so a na afa na wo ba nkrofo inbox mu se boa me obua me na mi nidi there bi into be near Jumasa. That is why I like the young people in Ghana who have found a way of using social media to build something for themselves in terms of what more building platforms, whether it's on YouTube. And so this same YouTube, TikTok, YouTube especially, in recent years, monetization, I used to hear some Ghanaians say things like, and I see, or to YouTube, so or pay YouTube coins. And so, people have built companies from YouTube. I employ nkrofo ewo Ghana or youth etua nkrofo ka out of YouTube. And so monetization started, there were so many Ghanaians who used to trivialize it. And insult people. Say, obi to YouTube so because of YouTube coins. But today, look, one classic example is somebody like Kwejo Sheldon. Me respect this guy and so much. Look at what Kwejo Sheldon has been able to use YouTube to build for himself to the point where today Kwejo Sheldon employs people and pays them. And sometimes when they talk about the kind of money they make from that Kwejo Sheldon Studios, that YouTube platform, a media platform. Another person, I've never heard him talk about how much he earns on YouTube, but we can all say at least he earns something decent. Is Clement Gossip 24. Gossip 24. Today, look at Clement's platform. Clement platform in a very credible platform. I love him so much. I've never met him, but I love him so much. And so I started fufuro. People used to talk anyhow just because you didn't understand it. Today, look at Mr. Beast. And with the Maya Shiano. So almost say almost your program be Dubai na in so the games called Dubai na top 10 winners, as I say, top 10 whatever or the Ombeba Ghana. Look at Wodemaya himself today. Look at Wodemaya himself. It is a Wote Ghana as a young person. And one thing I love about YouTube, for example, is that the Ghanaian economy has nothing to do with YouTube. YouTube is not run on Ghana's economy. Therefore, so who build the BB who YouTube. So now you start earning on YouTube. Ghana government in you to me be also. Say some time back now one more try so one more budget taxes near day. Fair enough, because UK near America or my YouTube no they pay taxes. That is who do a certain threshold near your earnings, you know. But build something for yourself. Until then, no excuse. Only excuse. And as a result of YouTube channels and for building serious or who even TikTok input, some of the young men and women in Ghana who've built beautiful TikTok platforms, whether through skits or whatever they're doing. Look at the opportunities at Abiyama Omo. Some of them are meeting the president. Some of them have met the past president. They met the former vice president, Dr. Bawumia. It's beautiful. It's opening doors for them. They are now rubbing shoulders with the high and mighty in our Ghanaian society as a result of social media. You see that the opportunity this book of Proverbs is offering us is that it doesn't matter your past mistakes. It doesn't matter your past mistakes. Don't ever let anybody judge you per your past mistakes. Debbie Ameka said there's this British actress, and she's an author, Joan Collins. In fact, one of your two sisters, Joan and Jackie Collins. And Joan Collins, or by you came maybe in the interview, no, near Bisane say, has she made any mistakes in life? And Joan Collins said something that was so profound. Once again, me lokishe me trim. Or say, show me somebody who hasn't made mistakes in life, and I will show you one who hasn't lived. Show me somebody who hasn't made mistakes in life, and I will show you one who hasn't lived. Because if you have truly lived this Abraboya Yeboy called life, then you would have made some mistakes, and hopefully you would have learned from those mistakes to become an even better person, a better version of yourself. Into who your youth, who you are passing by, you're hearing me talking, don't you kind of say, that's what they say in Ghana, right? Don't look down on yourself. Don't think don't ever think, say you don't belong. Look, the beauty of social media is that it has bridged a gap between the rich and the poor. And then social media, you can become a millionaire overnight. Make a dollar millionaire, not even Ghana cedis millionaire. To we a youth, it be out there over TikTok no so no, and over YouTube no so no. Initially, as a wire quine kakra, won't shut down who dear would be any ade, would the obey and sim hununi atem the no, and yet why yes, those mistakes na engery, uye nipa na ye mistakes, but moving forward from now, no tenase, ne jene, ne bisa because also our talent. That is one thing you need to understand. What talent. And the world is waiting to receive your talent. The world is waiting to receive your talent. If you don't keep your talent to yourself, say you're na unim to so camera no start to nyom. Say you're rapping na unim rapia so camera no start to rapping. You never know. You never know. Rap no ni peba ko ton enim producer bi wa America ho. I obaba with DM nim break through I don't know. That is what the book of Proverbs has been teaching us. Say, the wisdom is calling the inexperienced. Wisdom is calling the naive. Wisdom is calling the wicked person. Is giving you an opportunity to make a U-turn, turn around. It's not too late. Start. Look at your sister, sweeter Jelly. Or any video kakra or chira said yes, ben quine cutting quine jollof say. But look at your sister, no. Look at sweeter Jelly. So we a builder. Tiles near my na position camera no ho baby. Na chere area. See, you see, it's one thing BB and you're just making a video. And it's a completely different thing when you actually start teaching. It is the teaching that catches people's attention. Oh, it is a way you build and start teaching. How blocks and where then I wish share tricks be a woman. But unfortunately, sometimes really I stuck because we come from a place and a mindset, and then they say, "Oh, me kochira will be copy me." No, be copy unti the or be copy. Fine, nipa ne copy nipa, but on to me, they said ya would da. You know why? Because be a unique. Ye unique. Said the me DNA, me tam print, different from what tam print. No, to be copy me peda. And don't be afraid, say you'll be copy. Because the wheel is already there. Why would you want to reinvent the wheel? And take inspiration from people. Take inspiration. Take inspiration from people. Yes, started political videos. Na ye be 2020, 2019, thereabout. Nipa be me and some people na ye Ghana political videos. Some mo be kaya. Mo wo social media so wache. Facebook, ehon ye sha ase wo na TikTok o mai. YouTube kura na YouTube nya as vibrant as it is today. Na YouTube nya as vibrant as it is today. Any ye mu bi mo ye start ye. Enso ene nyankopon adom. Share the number of nipa political content, for example. And go ahead and start something. That is all the book of Proverbs is saying. And just be diligent in what you're doing and see how far nyankopon edo obeko. Okay? Okay, see my Bible no. Or say, but the hand of the diligent makes him rich. The hand of the diligent will make you rich. He who, and when we talk rich, we're not just talking money, cash, no, but richness in knowledge, in your mindset, in so many things that will eventually also bring you the money you're looking for anyway. Okay, I'll say, but he who gathers during summer and takes advantage of his opportunities is a son who acts wisely. But he who sleeps during harvest and ignores the moment of opportunity is a son who acts shamefully. Blessings are on the head of the righteous, the upright, those in right standing with God. But the mouth of the wicked conceals violence. You blocking your so the choice is ours to make. Okay, so I'm going to skip some of the verses there. I'm skipping all the way to 22. Reason I'm doing that is to encourage you to read the rest of the verses yourself. That's the whole idea. It's not for me to come and sit here and pretend or act as if I know it all. I'm still learning myself as I'm doing this. It's a learning curve for me all over again. And, it's to encourage you to also in your spare time just read and have that moment, that that one-on-one quiet time for yourself. Into 22, or say the blessing of the Lord brings true riches, and he adds no sorrow to it, for it comes as a blessing from God. Made that type of blessing in a meshishe. The blessing of the Lord brings true riches. True riches means sika enya wo bank balance, but eye asumdwe. Asumdwe in almost every area of your life. Says over the 7 fundamental areas of life are by the grace of God. Who asumdwe every area. I think say you're considered kind of rich people we are see a be. Because physical cash and bank fat bank balancer, you will nipa be more very, very fat bank balances. but womu ni asumdwe obu o wa ne health kura nye nti ne healthy bank balance no ontumi enjoy ye wesikafo bebre a ontumi nante mpo free ababi ameti to doi without ebi okura zima from no disrespect asem ne yeka obu ha sika bebrebe mpapa besie bank account kakraka so diabetes be disturbing abrabo blood pressure disturbing abrabo and so on until we're not necessarily talking about sika, we're talking about being fulfilled. Maybe that is the kind of riches I'm looking for. Fulfillment. Being able to look at every aspect or every area of my life and say, God, you know what? Why yamanabroso? Why ye amanabroso? So yeah. He who gathers during summer, okay, so we've read that. But he who, no, we've skipped that. You were 22. Yeah, the blessing of the Lord brings true riches, and he adds no sorrow to it, for it comes as a blessing from God. And then I'll skip to 29. The way of the Lord is a stronghold to the upright, but it is ruin to those who do evil. So when I come and I tell you that there are some people who are evil, is because of certain character traits. Character trait is evil. Now, when you're evil, why? Character traits be wise, just pure evil. Jealousy, envy, bearing false witness against your neighbor, yanko se obi, yanko dintro, yanko, all manner of things. And unfortunately, today people take money to do these things. And unfortunately, you're creating generational curses, as well as generational blessings. Why won't you focus on the blessings? Na curses so you are creating more. Why would you how on earth does one collect money? You collect money from an individual and accept. So so let's be very mindful of that as well this year, 2026. But you see, the good thing is that it is a choice. It is a choice. It is a choice. Okay, 31. The mouth of the righteous flows with skillful and godly wisdom, but the perverted tongue will be cut out. The lips of the righteous know, speak what is acceptable, but the mouth of the wicked knows or speaks what is perverted, what is twisted. Yeah, what is twisted. Yeah. Let me give you a clear example of what is twisted. Make I say 20 last year you call Ghana you in election campaign. Na omo invite me say member Ashanti region. Na my husband senior about from Prempeh College or NDC. He was organizing and arranging for us to come. And initially, it was supposed to go to Driso. It didn't happen, so we ended up somewhere else in Shia. So blah, 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 blah. So there's this young guy I know, and this guy says, oh, Auntie Mary, next time we'll call campaign, now me person me no from Accra. Now me say Mati, me do beko. Me try twisting things. Now me say me kwa me do beko. So he asked me, Onu no bisa me, yeah? So I'm talking to the family member. Na me catch a family member and say, oh, me kwa Ashanti region, na me de asimesi ebeko. Or say, oh, samum. Or say, wo say, or mesena enenenko. Wo na wo say omrana monko. But that wasn't the case. You see how people twist things? But because Spirit of God lead me Emma man kokase oh we bisa se me de nebe ko ntino like I'm mentioning it to you One how anko no akwa present here asem no se me na me se ombesen na yenko. Now God forbid but imagine say ye ko na ebia bibi kosi wo kwan so a to the family me na mabefa no and ebia asem akwa kosi. And so that isn't the case. And I said that wasn't the case. But nipa bebree ti saa. Nipa bebree ti saa. Not being straightforward. Especially Yukrum Ghana for bebree ti saa. Especially ebano ya dear mame Ghana ni ade na opeso obu saa na onye straightforward in chira da. 70% Christian nation, 21% nkremofo mine. Oka ye nyina ye bom Christopher ne nkremofo e Ghana 70%, 21%, 91% of the country are supposed to be religious people. 91%. But yet to do one and cannot correct. Is that not concerning? You know, yeah, dream. Okay, so to bring it all to a close tonight, it's all about our daily choices and how they would either reveal wisdom or foolishness and how they shape one's life. Daily choices on a daily basis, and even in a given day, a moment by moment basis. What kind of decision are we making? What kind of choice? What sort of choices are we making? Okay. Okay. So I said I saw something on Facebook that caught my attention. You know how I've been going on about this year. I'm turning 50, so looking at life from a different lens and all that. And I mean, who said, "Yeah, Nani pay me kaya ni pony." Oh, hey. So this gentleman, I'm not going to mention his name on Facebook, but he asked a question. And somebody, in fact, question no crowd catching my attention so much. Say response na So I'll just read it. Let me close this for now. So and may I'm saying this and I'm going to read this to tie in with making certain decisions, why people make certain decisions, setting your boundaries, why at a certain stage in your life, why you mustn't seek validation from people, why you mustn't bother like the end survey well, no, don't allow it in your space, protect your peace, all these things that I'm preaching about, how very important it is. And the person who wrote the comment, explains it so beautifully. And so when you post, say at 50, does one simply continue with whatever they've been doing? Or it's the best time to switch to something else one has always wanted to do? At the age of 50, do you just continue with said ya sa? And I say, is it the best time say ube switch it? Now what shall see aye diana wakoma you've always wanted to do ewa brabum? Maybe question pony say why must one come to that realization at the age of 50? You can even begin earlier than that. So what to plan life in year. And you see, it goes to the younger ones. You must be more chair and sana you be all the self-development, personal development. We kind of start we caught on in our early 30s, thereabout. But if you're a young person, let me say 18, 19, 20, it's there now, for productive years, yanentem, so that you can live your life, your passion, and all those things. And don't wait Into that, then the guy who came to respond to the comment, or say, here are two lenses to look through. First one, continuing the path. If your current work or lifestyle still excites you, gives you purpose, and aligns with your values, then staying the course can deepen mastery and legacy. Switching to something new. At 50, you've gathered wisdom, resilience, and perspective. At 50, you've gathered wisdom, resilience, and perspective. You see, sometimes if you're dealing with people, especially those people who think, say, we can bring them down, we can break this person, we can destroy this person. Na nipa na wote one corner na ufu say you can bring them down. Ufu say you can bring Obi down. Ufu say you can break Obi. Ufu say you can destroy Obi. Unim nipa na resilience awa build wa abrabum. Unim nipa na ebia ne wisdom awa de namu abrabum said ya yenu abeme ya chro wa he. Nipa no unim ne perspective a odete wa abrabum. And so see, what he's trying to say is that by the age of 50, these are certain qualities or attributes of life that people are expected to have built. Resilience, have some wisdom, and have a certain perspective or outlook on life. Or see, that makes it a fantastic time to pivot into passions you may have postponed. Research shows people often experience a second adulthood around this age, a chance to reinvent themselves, whether through career changes, creative pursuits, or lifestyle shifts. The risks feel smaller because you're not starting from scratch. You're bringing decades of experience to something new. The hybrid approach, you don't have to choose one or the other. Some people, being an example myself, as in the writer, such a beautiful write-up. Or see, some people, being an example myself, keep their main path, but carve out space for side projects, hobbies, or part-time ventures that fulfill long-held dreams. This way, we balance stability with exploration. A reflective question to ask yourself. Does what I am doing now make me feel alive? Am I craving something that I'll regret not trying? My 2 cents though. Whether. Is that not beautiful? And that's the reflective question. Writer no. In fact, I'll go and leave a comment under this thing. It's so beautiful. So beautiful. Into me the question na obisa yen nyina no. Maybe kaya ma yen nyina, and that's going to be obia hopefully. So when you nyama say ho a, let us all reflect on it. Bisa wo say, does what you are doing now, does it make you feel alive? Well, Juma was 9 to 5. Do you still feel that same, the first day you got that job, because whatever job you are doing today, remember it was your prayer point, at some stage in your life, you prayed for it. The day your catcher was a bra interview, you must have gone to that interview with your best attire. And I don't know be a one that sorry in tem udware we obi bia won pese wo be late udu ho ntem we interview na omo ka kire wo say you hear from us, here you were fasting, praying, disturbing Jesus in the peace, Radem Pacho, Rademistro, Radim Maminho, Unya, yeah, call your start here, you and your work colleagues, Do you still feel like that maybe 20 years later, 25 years later? Some people have been in their jobs, the same job for 40 years. Do you still feel the same way? Does it still keep you alive like it did? What he's trying to say is that if it does, then don't change it. But if it doesn't, are you craving something, or am I craving something that I'll regret not trying? There are so many people who want to try. There's something in there you haven't done yet. But some people manage to talk themselves out of, oh, they are many doing it. The Kaiser your core event be. A man your London at check. Na me kasa was a event no briefly. Na your point na mami 4 be. But I could 60 something. Both of them were approaching their 70s. Na omo ba me honom si o my encourage like makasama and no one who said so mo corner or mo con live your dreams. They said they are not giving. Let me see. Yes, mom, don't like. Hey, why would you give up on yourself? No. So you are 69. So what? You are 72. So what? Me one Nigerian ni ma maybe I'm following on Instagram. She's in her 70s. Oh, kotoma, I don't know what exercise or Instagram, no sure. Enya sem ketwa. Or fan a dumbbells, no, or far away, no, or need the yes, or chere say at 70 plus or korano. Oh, exercise, or videos, no, they are to Instagram and also. Yeah, she's living her best life in her 70s, sharing it with the world. There's another one, Biache. Also, I used to come across a video and put the African American, 80 something, or push ups. I feel crown or course our more. I was our mom yet said, Mr. Juan for now, more muscles, and I know ye be. I'm going to say, I think she was in her 80s. Or ye be, we must build or yen and Sunday say, no, whom I hang. Live your best life. There is nothing like age. These are things we can all go and reflect on. And if there's something you're craving to do that you haven't done yet, don't live in regrets. It's not too late to start. It's not too late to start. Say mumu bebrebe a mushe video. I've had so many people. Oh, Maria, when you're turn on the camera. The idea na be first Roberta be catch me say sis my starting program on social media so it's my channel ni me patch follow me na enumere bi abra na beti me ba say me so me na nka yeso yanje ya home kakra mo share with the world you are bibi wo mu anya media dua wo mu you have a phone. You say something, Jabi, leave some footprints and share in your talent. Say yeah, bien noir, say yeah, whatever today said yeah, ma yes share your home, nuggets of wisdom. Say yeah, our real experience you want to share. Don't be afraid. Whatever your passions are, whatever your passions are. Share so that you don't live in regrets. And there's nothing like menyini will be at the end. Okay, beautiful write up. Okay, let's do our affirmations and then we are done for tonight. So the next set of affirmation we'll do 1, 2, 3, and then we have another 3 tomorrow, and then we'll start all over again till end of the month. Today's first one was saying, I attract success by being my authentic self. I attract success by being my authentic self. I am healthy, strong, and full of energy. I am healthy, strong, and full of energy. Last one. I am surrounded by love and I bring out the best in others. I am surrounded by love and I bring out the best in others. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I love you all, and God willing, we shall meet tomorrow evening. Roberta say very true. Going back to our first love is always worth it. Absolutely. Okie dokie doke. We shall call it a night. Miss Beatrice. Oh, Miss Beatrice is say amazing. Thank you. And the write up, I'll go and leave a comment for the man. The write up is so beautiful. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Eve, or say good evening, Sister Marie and everyone. Good evening to you, Eve. I don't think I've seen you here this new year. Happy New Year to you, my dear. And my sister, Amma Andrews, and so in your house, say hi, Marie and World family. Amma, hello to you, Yachiel. All right. Bye. God bless you. Bye bye.